Hello, this is my first recording. And what I'm looking at tonight is a situation with the Ohio man that went disappeared in Mexico. And he was last seen at the Cincinnati airport on December 22nd. His family's worried about him. They believe that he may have been kidnapped in Mexico. And in that area where this is located in central Mexico, there's a lot of crime that goes on down in that region. There's a lot of uh, almost like war type atmosphere down there. And I believe that he was kidnapped by one of these war type uh, situations. In other words, someone that's high up in this type of violence, and he could be used as a bargaining chip to the federal government to get money. There's all kinds of things that could come out of this, but at this point, that's where I'm. My main belief is that he's been kidnapped by a no, I wouldn't say a gang, but more or less like warlords in that central portion of Mexico. From what I understand, his girlfriend was with him, and she was kidnapped as well. So this is a very important situation for Mexico as far as people who travel into that area that are Americans, and it should be taken care of pretty quickly. This isn't something that I think that will be looked on too lightly, but we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. But Mexico is not like the United States, of course, and it's a little place called Zac uh, Ticadas, Mexico. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. And the police down in that region aren't like police in America. So that's pretty much the gist of what's going on. However, I think that I really don't see a good ending to this at this point. Um, Back in January, there was a report of a person that had been kidnapped, and it was not a good ending with that. So, uh, yes, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now when it comes to the situation in Zacatecas, Mexico. I believe that's what it is. It's hard for me to pronounce that, but that's what I believe is going on. They were kidnapped. It could be a situation where they were just at the wrong place at the wrong time, and it's really hard to say. But in all honesty, for a good outcome of this, it's very hard to believe something good's going to come out of this. So my response is that I believe they were kidnapped by a warlord of some sort in central Mexico without going into actual understanding of what takes place in those areas, without calling out to actual names of the groups that are in that area. But so we'll keep it at warlord right now. But yeah, that's what's going on. Mexico is not like America, where the federales go in and they're going to go in there. It just doesn't have the legal aspects of America, and so I think that it will be very hard to get this family back. It's possible, but it's not likely from some of the information that's come in from earlier in the year. So it's a bad situation in Mexico. Do I think they're still alive? Oh, it's probably not a good bet on that. But because of the most likelihood of who kidnapped them, and it's a crime ridden area. It's just not a good bet that these people will honestly be used as any kind of bargaining chip or anything like that. So that's kind of where I'm at on this. But yeah, it's a bad deal, and we're just looking at will there be a resolution? I don't believe there will be. It's just a sad situation. I say when you go into other countries, don't be going to the bars. Don't put yourself out there. Don't don't put yourself in an area, especially in a crime-ridden area like Central Mexico, to where you will be seen in bars. Uh, it's a bad deal. So I would venture to say I would not travel to Central Mexico. I wouldn't travel to Northern Mexico. It's just honest truth. Wouldn't do it. Honestly, I wouldn't even leave the USA. I'm not interested in even leaving the USA because of the different laws, like Dutch laws, things of that nature in different countries. There's been a lot of people who went to Mexico, had a great time, come back, no problems. But then there's been some never come back, never heard from again, never found their bodies. So if you're planning a trip to Mexico, I'm telling you right now, unless it's Cancun, somewhere in Acapulco, somewhere in that range. But even those areas sometimes have problems. It just depends on who you get involved with when you're down there. Say to yourself, don't get involved in situations where you shouldn't be. Not to say they did, but I wouldn't have went to a bar if that would have been me. No way. Not in those areas. But I don't go to bars anyway too much, so probably hadn't been to a bar in 30 years. But anyhow, that's my take on what's going on in this Mexico case. Most likely, it will not be a good outcome. Most likely, they've been kidnapped by one of the warlords in that region. Uh, the outcome, I'm not going to get into the full aspects of what could take place with them, but I just don't like the situation. I don't like what's going on down there, and there's probably a good likelihood that there won't be a good outcome on this. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the situation in Mexico.